Well, because it's Monday, a day where we talk about work, we are right here seated and about to discuss what actually makes one relevant at the workplace. Is it based on the position you carry? Is it based on efficiency, or is it the name you carry? What makes you relevant? Today on today's live, we're going to be discussing grooming myself. And you'll be glad that you joined this edition. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. At Equa Television International, do well to drop your thoughts on that topic. But based on popular demand, guess who we have here? Engineer Tony J. Nakali. Good morning and welcome.
You people plan to start the show without me. If this world know what you people do to me, they will pity me. But the Lord is with me. The Lord
you.
Strong and mighty.
We love you, you know.
You have joined them, but with your all back.
Good morning and welcome.
Victor, you are going to be receiving a query after this show. You started montage. Your sincerely is not seated. If the Lord doesn't help me through this program. How are you, Joyce?
Fine, thank you.
Is to give you a unique entry.
Oh, Solo is here. I'm just noticing.
By the way, Prudence is right here. Sambo Solomon, good morning.
Good morning.
Joyce, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your morning.
Huh? It's my money. Oh, even if you
Church
don't say
money.
they know now, it's church money.
Church
You're using
money.
church money to slay.
My morning.
It's been wonderful. It's an amazing thing to be here all the time. And like I would always say, when I go back and I watch the tapes and the programs again, I feel like I'm not the one talking. So, and I feel like it's not solo talking. I feel like it's not Joyce, it's not Prudence. I feel that there are different people speaking to me, because if I look at the vessels, I may not attach words to what I'm hearing. So I disregard who is speaking. And then whatever we say speaks to me. Believe me, I enjoy the show when I'm not on it more than when I'm on it, because there are angles you think you know, and people come from a different angle, and you put that up to add up to the knowledge you already have. And before you know it, you're sparkling. But you see, I'm grateful that people have grown to the level that others can rely on the knowledge that they have, which is the most important thing in life. When you see less need to become a smaller person, but you see a bigger need to become a bigger person, that means you are growing. That's what growth means. It's the desire, not the physical achievement. It's the desire, because the desire is like what fertilizes you to become who you want to be. And anytime I watch the show, I'm like, oh, this thing that God started small with us. We didn't know what was in it when we started, but now we are beginning to see a glimpse of where God is taking us to. And it's so amazing.
True.
It's so amazing.
True. And that just brings my thoughts to the topic, grooming myself. Like, we work Mondays. I've seen people post videos when it's Monday, how that they don't even want to show up at work because it's either the weekend was short or they had a very busy weekend and they thought, oh, I should have
They are
some
just
rest.
bragging. Let them stay at home.
And
People
it's
do that a lot.
Monday.
Why is Monday a bad day?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these are the days that count for you to be paid.
So
You understand? These are the
True.
days that
Yes,
count
how-
for you to be paid. Without Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there will be no good weekend. What do you want to spend at the weekend? Weekend is the time that you relax.
And
You know, coming to work is cheaper than relaxing. Do you know that?
True.
Okay.
True. Actually. And then people are always looking forward to the Friday.
Let me. If you know any
TGIF.
married man, advise him to stay at home 48 hours, like from Saturday morning till he's coming to work on Monday. Then you see how much he will spend. Sometimes when they go out, it's not like they have a place to go. It's when they leave the gate, they start thinking, where do I? Okay, let me visit Hassan. Yeah, see, no, can I get in Hassan zone? Like, what will I be doing at home? When you relax, you stay one place, you spend less.
Wow. Alright. What makes one relevant at work today? Because it's like a community where you have different people holding on different positions, having different expectations by the organization. Like, what makes you relevant? Is it your ability to just perform that task that is being given to you, or the reason why you're just employed and that is it all. Let's talk about grooming myself.
My living school certificate.
That's what makes me relevant.
You say what makes me relevant? My
Okay.
living school certificate.
Awesome. Prudence.
If you can believe that, you can believe anything in your life. Yes, what makes you relevant?
What makes you relevant is that
You, not
what
me.
makes
not
me
them.
me
Mm.
relevant.
Mm.
The fact that I don't want to do the same thing exactly the same way more than twice.
Mm.
At least let there be a difference the next time I'm doing it. Let it be better. Let it glow. Let it show more. Let there be a shine on it. Let there be a glow on it. See, if I'm doing shadows today, tomorrow when I'm doing shadows, it should be on a different level. I should have grown a little bit. I think that's what keeps me relevant.
Is the levels attached to saying it for me?
You see, but, I was just going to say something. I can't wait to hear Prudence is in a love relationship. I will be a friend to the guy. I'll be asking. I say, is the reason is I want to. How are you people doing? What is she saying anything? How far is she like this? Is she like? I want to know.
Is the levels for me?
I want to know. I want to know.
It is well. You know, prudence will always be prudence on set.
Regardless.
Regardless.
Wherever you take her to, she's Prudence. Prudily.
PK.
It's no change. Proudly.
Wow.
Proudly.
It's not.
Yeah.
See, it's not that your father is a pastor that takes you to heaven.
It's not by that.
It's not by that. It's by working your salvation personally.
Personally.
So all this PK, the title that you people carry, are using.
PK will not
If you
hear
can't
what-
raise the dead and heal the sick, cancel that name.
True. Very true.
Yeah. So for me, what makes me relevant is the ability to keep pushing where I find myself. That is workplace, regardless, whatever is on my table. The ability to push, because some people try to do their best when the condition is conducive. You understand?
Some people try to do their best when the condition is conducive.
Hey, it's the rap song. It's nice. It's
Some
the-
people try to do their best when the atmosphere is conducive. Wow.
strong line.
It is indeed strong line. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel that's just what makes me relevant, because you can only be noticed when the situation is not favorable, and then you are given a task or given your work, and then disregarding everything and then trying to do what is on your table.
That's a powerful one, and like for you to stay relevant in today's working environment, you have to groom yourself. It does not just happen just like that. I remember back then in school, they would always tell us, see, nobody will spoon feed you. Don't think because you're in school, so your lecturer will tell you everything. It means that you have a part to play. You must create time that when you don't understand what is being taught, or you have the outline, you should be able to go back, sit, and then go through it. There are certain things that nobody will come and say, oh, sit down, and then they will spoon feed you. You have to be deliberate about creating time to learn certain things. I'm so happy that we live in a time where, because of the advancement in technology, you can acquire knowledge your knowledge is at your disposal. There's no excuse for failure. So what I think I cannot do, I can go and watch how other people do it. There are things online that if you want to learn today, you see how people do it, and you can learn. You can read. There are materials that you can read. You can read. There are some that are even free for you to learn. But you cannot say, oh, based on my job description, I'm just here to sweep, and that's just it. And I'm asked to sweep from here to here, and this is how the broom should go. And that is just it for me.
You can
cannot
only do
remain
that when the broom is available.
Yes, you cannot remain relevant like that. So you must be deliberate about creating time to groom yourself. Don't let it not be like the usual. I went for a program yesterday, and I think when I was making a post about it, I said this is beyond the norms. When lately when people organize program, you go, it's almost like the same thing. You can just tell what to expect. But these people went down, like going back to the roots, and it was beyond the norm. So trying to still push even when the atmosphere is not conducive, trying to be like the go-getter, that regardless of the distractions that are around you, this is the focus and you will go for it. This is what will make you relevant. No, not that, okay, if the boss is around, I will do it. When it's not around, I will not do it. When I'm appreciated, I'll put in my best. When I'm not appreciated, I will not do it. When I'm giving some honorariums or allowance, I'll put in my best. But when I'm not giving, I will reserve certain knowledge. No. Even as a company or as a business, there are a lot of competition out there. So if you're not deliberate about creating time to study, to add up knowledge, to diversify, to see how that you can like be ahead of other people, sooner or later you see that you become extinct because you're doing the regular, what every other person is doing. So for you to remain relevant, you have to think outside the box. Like we discussed Globe some weeks back, thinking globally and acting locally. Though this is what every other person is doing, but what is obtainable? And then how can I bring it to where I am so that people can like relate, understand, and still be relevant? So I think it's very important that people always create time to groom themselves. Not that, oh, well, the organization is not organizing any training, so it is what I came with. That's what I'm going to give. It is what I'm taught in school. That's what I'm going to give. But I will not use my data to add any knowledge. I will not use, if at where I'm working there's no data, no provision, then the work should just stop right there.
You see, anytime that somebody behaves like that, is that the work you're doing is you're just doing it to get your pay at the end of the day. Because if you're doing it to actually have a certain form of satisfaction and not just for the pay, you want to be accomplished, you want to feel accomplished and be accomplished, then you would work on yourself. Because if you're relaxed and stay at the same place, you stay stagnant. Over time you become stale, and nobody wants a taste of a stale bread. Nobody wants that. So as much as possible, we strive to make ourselves better, just because we want to keep remaining relevant. Because the moment that you relax and you're not building yourself or determined to grow to a certain level, you find that the workload on your desk begins to reduce. It's not like it's anything. They're just telling you that your capacity is really not what we are looking for right now. And over time, you find that your desk becomes empty. And it's like you come to work every day and you're looking for what to do, because nobody trusts you with something to do, because they want to see results and you're not dishing out that. So over time you're just being paid at the end of the day for doing nothing. And for some people, they're comfortable doing that, but that's a really nasty move. Like that's really bad, because you don't know the harm that you're doing to yourself. Because when they decide to cut you off, because most companies, most organizations at some point decide to cut off excess load, burden. You become that excess load, the burden.
Take it easy on them. How can you call human beings excess load? And it's still money. Please look for a nicer way of saying it.
I'm not sure there's a nicer way of saying this.
Like irrelevant. You use
down.
Irrelevant, maybe.
That's worse.
That's worst. You know, I was going to ask this question. Is it possible that one would groom his or herself when you're not passionate or having interest on the job?
How?
She made mention of the fact that there are people that they are just about the pay. So in that instance, is there place for grooming?
There's none, because you see, if I understand what Prudence is trying to say is, you see, growth is a concerted effort. If you are not deliberate about where you want to be, there is no role for growth to play in your life. There's no role for growth to be. If you are not deliberate, this is where I want to be. Okay, if that's where you want to be, where are you right now? Identifying the point where you're at and where you're going to helps you in calculating the distance. And that helps you in knowing your level of preparedness for the journey. When you are talking about grooming yourself, and then there was a question you asked us in front in how do we know how relevant, right, we are? And then I jokingly said, by living Joyce, if you are in a place and all you can do is add your knowledge to the place, and that does not translate into being value for the place, you are not grooming yourself, number one. Number two, that means you have been offering empty stuff. Because Equa Television, for instance, it's where it is today because of a pinch of Solo's value added to it, a pinch of her value added to it, a pinch of these people's value added to it, a pinch of everybody's value added to it. Now, Diamond Bank, for instance, is dead, right? So that's why I'm using the name. So Diamond Bank, for instance, the value that each and every individual in that bank brings makes the bank what it is today. Not customers. No, not customers. Customers only go to where they find their money safe and they are treated well. So it translates. We have very many banks in Nigeria, but they are not at the same level. Why? Value. If I'm keeping my money, if I keep 2,000 and I'm supposed to have interest, but I keep getting deductions, I don't think there's value for my investment, because the money I bring is an investment. So anywhere you go to, that program that you are saying you attended, what made it different from the other ones you had is the value that they added to the name, because it's concert, right? So everybody is doing concert, but they felt, what value are we bringing to this concert that will make it different from the others? Now, as a talk host show, as a talk show host, what value are you bringing to all the shows that you host that will make me sit down today and long for your next show? As a pastor, how do you groom yourself to add value to that pulpit that you man every Sunday as a pastor? Because that is what makes me want to have the excitement, first of all, to go to church. Do you not know that there are people that only disconnect when the message is about to come up? And in those days, you cannot wait for the time of the message. In those days, pastors used to preach 3 hours, 2 hours.
You don't even notice.
You don't notice. Where are you going to? Because Sunday was dedicated for church until we started getting our priorities wrong. It cannot always be about you, Joyce Zakada. It can't always be about you. It has to be about everyone that you are working with. And unfortunately, people, like you said earlier, there are no remunerations coming to me as a person for adding extra. I can't even kill myself. It's not like they even pay me for this extra. You see, when you start thinking that way, you have set an antecedent for yourself that growth is not your own. Always think, do I learn from these extras? If yes, how much am I paying to learn? Nothing. And as a matter of fact, I'm being paid. It's enough. But guess what? People don't care about, when you say grooming yourself, this topic that you brought, you say grooming yourself. Do you see people making any effort? Like growth is of essence to them? No. Especially young people. And we are the ones shouting that old people have been ruling us for a long time. And we have not shown a single sense of responsibility that we can take over and manifest. Taking over is different. If you take over, you have to manifest. So how are people positively waiting for us? How? They say that the world is in the hands of the youth. But we are the ones into drugs the most. We are the ones into prostitution the most. We are the ones into, even if we seem serious in what we do, we are the ones into alcohol the most. We are the ones into every kind of frivolous thing you can think of. So, what are you grooming yourself to? If you say you are grooming yourself and you are thinking they are not paying me, there is nothing for you to groom. You see, I will not stop saying that growth is for you, not for the organization you work in.
I was going to say that, people always think that when you put that extra effort, is for the organization.
What is the use of having a brand new car and is always parked at home? Just because you don't want it to wear, you don't want it to tear, so you park it at home, say this car is new. For the next 6 years, nobody is starting this car. And each and every day, the same way you treat that car is the same way life treats you. Each and every day, the value of the car depreciates. So each and every day, the value of your knowledge depreciates. But you see, the difference between that car and your knowledge is because if your knowledge is put to work, it appreciates. But the car, the more you put it to work, it depreciates. If you buy a brand new car of 12 million today, if you want to sell it tomorrow, you can't sell it 12 million. So you can't. Even if it's 11,999, yes. But at least you cannot sell it 12 million. But if you buy knowledge today for 2,000, the day you want to sell it, you might sell it 1 million.
Sure.
But you see, people always think that prostituting who I am makes me more relevant. No. What do I mean? Anything I do, I have to get paid for it. There is a time, even in the Bible, there is a time for sowing and there is a time for reaping. And you see, the mistake we made, we determine when the reaping time is on behalf of God.
You know what you just said really just reminded me. About 2 Sundays ago, if I remember correctly, a preacher was preaching and he said the youths have lost one thing, and this thing is that we don't understand the value of volunteering. What does volunteering do to you? It teaches you what you cannot learn just sitting down at home holding your certificate or in the classroom. Volunteering gives you an edge. It makes you understand the market that you are going to. It makes you understand the environment that you find yourself. So over time, you're already gaining knowledge from volunteering. At the end of the day, you find that you've grown to a certain level. This does not have anything to do with the company. This growth is for you. It's not like when you're leaving the organization you just volunteered to, they will say, give us back our knowledge and you can go ahead. No, you go with it. And tomorrow when you are shining out there, it's not people would not even, sometimes people don't even remember that you did that volunteering if you did not mention it. In fact, most of the times people don't even know where you're coming from. You just know what you are giving at that moment. So the glory doesn't go back to the organization that you said you volunteered or you started out with. The glory goes back to you. It's you who they see. It's you that they see. It's your value they see out there, not just the value of those that worked on you. So the fact that you allow yourself, you're available to be worked on, to be groomed, to be pruned. See how gold has to go through a lot of process before it comes out as refined and as beautiful as it looks. Same with diamonds. Whatever beautiful gem you see, at the first instance that you see it, it's not as beautiful as it looks when it is being when it has been processed. So as much as we want to, sometimes we just want to relax as youths. We just want to
like they
enjoy
get
ourselves.
it quick.
Yeah,
That's just it. Nobody
yeah.
wants to go through process. Like you just want it fast. This success, I just want it. This money, I just want it. That car, I just want to drive it. The big mansion, I just want to own
But it's
it.
not
The
possible.
greatest
You
thing
don't
that
want
has
to go
happened to man is salvation. And the person who brought it went through process.
So who are you?
Do you understand the question? Do you understand the statement? Who are you? That's the question. So who are you not to go through process? For some people, the process is longer. For some people, it is short. For some people, it's very, very short. For some people, they make the first step and the next thing, they are in ownership of this thing that they are looking for. We don't know that anything you desire has a price attached to it. Anything you desire in life has a price attached to it. You want to be married to the most beautiful woman on earth. She tells you how much she spends on her skin weekly. She tells you how much she spends on her feet weekly. She tells you how much she spends on her hair monthly. She tells you how much she spends on the boutique monthly. And then you are like, yes, I'm willing. And she goes, are you sure? Say yes. Are you sure? Yes. All right. Let's hit the road. Why don't I have coffee this morning? You are giving me cold drink. And then what you forget to ask is, how much does this sum up to? You heard 5,000, you heard 3,000, you think it's just that. No, when you hear at the end, she did not talk about feeding. She didn't talk about the car. She didn't talk about the kind of house she wants to live. So it comes with a price. Anything you want to own, anything you want to get comes with a price. Do you know how much I spend on data to research online? Now, if I sit down and say, Office did not buy data, I want to continue being a stupid idiot. Thank God it's myself I'm talking to. Do you know, I keep telling you, I keep bringing my friends to this show to make example. I have a friend who just invested 47 million in a project that he's not aware whether it will make money or not. But he said, if I perish, I perish. He invested 47. Now he has started the project. He's into the same thing as. So he has started just to see. Business is about risk. But I told him, I said, yes, since you say you are not sure what is going on, it doesn't mean that you are losing money. So since you have invested this much, take your time to get it right. So that even if it doesn't bring out money, the same commensurate to what you have spent, you would have proven a point that you did this thing world class. That is it. And then on the other hand, I have friends that are waiting to make money within the week so that they can spend it at the weekend. Yes. See vision. Whatever you see with your physical eyes will not benefit you as much as what you see with the eyes in your mind. Because that's you don't use physical eyes to see vision. The inner eyes is what you use to see vision. You see that portfolio building that is out there? Somebody saw it in his mind. That's vision. Today it is standing there, fully erected. It's standing there. It was vision. Somebody sat and saw Equa TV when it did not exist. And he said, it will be possible if we do it this way. People are watching. Somebody saw the building of the Equa headquarters in his mind. That's the power of vision. And unfortunately today, you want to get married, you use the physical eyes. You say, this Joyce should be a good wife. Oh. And when you marry her, she start calling all the former uncles.
Mm.
Amen, amen,
Beauty
amen,
attracts.
amen. Yes. And they tell, no, this one is my former uncle. The fact that I broke up with uncle does not mean we are not in touch anymore. But you see, you didn't look at her with the inner eyes. You didn't look at her with the inner eyes. It's the same thing with your job. If all you can see at your job, is what the physical eyes can show you, you are an unwilling participant to grow. Or to growth. Or yes, to grow. But if you vision stuff and you say, look, the best presenter in the biggest TV in the world is my destination, you'll get there. It's just time process. But you will get there. Do you not know that there are people, when they hear something, just something about them, it breaks them down, it slows everything down. It takes like the Aiki manafasa, vision in manafasa. Let me go and die. No. I heard TD Jake said that everybody has felt the urge to quit. I think when he said that, everybody reposted that. He said the greatest man on earth, the youngest, the strongest, the richest, everyone has felt that urge. What does that mean? It means it is okay to feel the urge. But when you quit, like I would always say, nothing comes out of quitting except that you quit.
And you talked about purpose, and I think is key in this discussion. And you made example of a brand new car. And I look at it from this angle of, okay, why in the first place you have the money and you think of buying a brand new car and then just park it, and every morning all you do is to warm it. And
bragging rights.
You do want me okay. But some people don't even do that. So
yeah. So, but I'm just imagining, you understand, if you have that million, stuck somewhere, and you're not thinking of giving Equa TV, like you are just to buy
fridge.
3 of us should shut up. You talk till 12.
Right on, bro.
And you just buy a brand new car and then you park.
Fundraising committee.
He who has here.
Fundraising committee chairman has
spoken. We need the money here. We need the money here.
We needed.
like
we needed the money.
Yes, sir.
That does not mean we have stopped needing it. We are needed. We are still needed in, and we will needize it. If you copy this English and paste it anywhere, you're
You see, so you look
say
at
instead of giving Equa TV from there.
Yes, you look at the purpose why someone will think like that, and you mentioned of you buying a brand new car and then you're using it is depreciated.
It depreciates, yeah.
Looking at the purpose of someone who bought a new car and then he put it in use. Yes, the car will depreciate, but people will feel the impact. For the
even
purpose,
you get the value.
Yes,
you will.
For the purpose which the car was bought. Because if you said, okay, we are buying a car in Equa TV to take us around, to do awareness, to develop content, while the car is depreciating, definitely you will be seeing the value, of the car through the content which we use to go around. So I feel if you feel like yes, I have a knowledge, and I feel because Joyce is here, Prudence is here, Mr. Sony is here, and then I feel no, I don't want them to tap from it. So I keep it, and I feel let me be using it, and whenever I use it, they will say yes, yeah, that's the guy, that's the guy. He's different. His wealth of knowledge, is something. Then sooner or later, you begin to see that you are not relevant, because I feel for you to be relevant is for people to feel your impact in wherever choosing field. Because where I see that this way, if there's no impact, there's no relevance, and then impact will not come without growth. Because it's when you give, that's when there will be a space for you to take more. And the more you give, the more you are hungry to get more to dish out. So you see people that people that are stagnant, whether with knowledge and whatever, you find out they are being selfish. Whether at work, at home, with their money, whatever, just name it. They are just being selfish. So even with their growth and everything, you will just see them, they are stuck. So you open your mind, first of all, if truly you want to grow. Yes, you know there's a push, and then you have a purpose that this is where I want to be. This is the impact I want to make in this area, in that area. So definitely, you cannot say that you want to give something when you don't have anything. And whenever you are dishing what you have, always you want to get more so that you will freely give. So I feel it is very important issue of growth in our lives, because if you look at Jesus, Almighty, the way he came. Ordinarily, when his father was hitting those nails left, right, and center, he would just say, "Let there be cheer." Dad, don't worry. Let there be cheer. Let there be this. Let there be hunger. Let there be wardrobe. And it will just be, because he's Almighty. But look at it. He went through his father during the carpentry, to learn. At that point, it's not the carpentry, but he's trying to tell someone that it's a process.
Because he is all-knowing. He would have known how to fix, how to measure, and how to do everything right.
Exactly.
I know, interestingly, they can't be grooming without the desire to grow. They cannot be grooming without knowing where you want to be. They cannot be grooming without finding or discovering purpose. Like grooming myself or grooming yourself comes from the point where you realize or you discover that, see, this is where I'm headed. It becomes easy. You don't even need somebody to tell you that, see, you need to create time and study. You need to create time and learn this. Like, you hunger for it. Why? You know that you desire to be somewhere that beyond where you are today. Like, we keep talking about how that if you are stagnant, if you are just, your totality is the knowledge you have or the one you have acquired, or like what your papers say, then sooner or later you become irrelevant. Today, the relevance we talk about, it does not just come from what you study in school. That means you are like old school, because we live in a world that is dynamic. Every day things change. So if you're not deliberate about grooming yourself, like desiring every day to learn, to know more and to become better, then the world will just forget about you. All the people we keep talking about today, the big names we mentioned, is because of how every day they wake up determined to solve problem. How every day they wake up looking for problems and then looking out for solutions. See, value, impact is what the world is after. The world is not looking for the certificate that you owe. They are not asking them, oh, which family are you coming? Like, what can you give? We live in a time
all
where
these things have expired.
we live in a time where
I was going to say
imagine
nobody
that
actually cares.
how we are
They just care
battling
about the
in a
result.
country
Yeah.
now like Nigeria, how we are battling economic wise and then other things. You want to come and tell somebody, do you know I'm a professor? Who cares what the person is concerned about? How can you solve this problem that I'm having?
Do you know, Joyce, at the same time, there are young men in this country who don't know that there is hardship.
Yes.
It's true.
Go to Lagos, you see them. Most of them are in Lagos. But they have their laptops and they are doing business. They are earning in dollars, in pounds, in euros. And these are legitimate businesses.
Yes.
These guys don't have they don't have a problem flying a private jet to come to just to see a friend and going back. Meanwhile, you are still here and not doing what it takes. Some of these guys, when they wake up, shower, they are on the system. They walk, they eat, they continue working. They make the money, they continue working. They don't have starting and closing time. They don't. Why? Because their eyes on the price. Their eyes are set upon their targets. Like, I want to hit $5 million in 2023. Right now they are at 1.5, but they are not giving up. They are saying, since the year has not closed, one deal, one of this can give me this, and I'm still on it. But yeah, there are so many people. You see, what makes two people different is the knowledge that they have. What is the knowledge? I'm not talking about what you studied. No, I'm talking about the knowledge to be able to think that this thing is possible if I give it this approach. This thing is possible if I don't waste time doing this and that. I can give my time to it. Do you know that as God is having plans for you, the devil also has plans for you? So his plan, the Bible says that the plans that God has is for you to be prosperous and be in good health as your soul prospers. So it's talking about prosperity, that nothing should be lacking in your life. But you see, the power has been released upon these words. But the ability to bring this prophecy to fulfillment is in your hand or your hands, not God. Because he has done his own part. He has said it. In other words, he told you that it is possible, so go ahead. So when you come back to him to say how, he said, no, you figure out how. I'm not in the world. You are the one in the world. So figure out. You are the one who knows the economy. Figure out. When you were talking, Joyce, I picked up one thing. Do you know people say, I want to be like Pastor this. I want to be like Pastor that. I want to be like GM this. I want to be like GM that. I want to be like director this. I want to be like director that. I want to be like Mrs. this. I want to be like Mrs. that, Miss this. People have these desires. But sit down with the person you want to be with. Let him tell you just 10% of his challenges. Just 10%. So you have an idea of what the person goes through in life. When people stand to speak to you, they disregard what they go through and they show you what you want to see that will make you want to follow them as mentors. But sit down with everybody that is mentoring one person or the other. Do you know how many people you are mentoring? You can never know in this life. I've met people who say, finally I've met you. I've been following you for 5 years. That means you have been mentoring them for 5 years and you didn't even know.
No.
A lot of them. So what do these people go through? How do they stand at that pinnacle of their career, regardless of what they go through that are negative? How?
It's determination, consistency. Like, I know.
So you are grooming yourself. You are grooming yourself to climb that mountain and plant that flag. You are grooming yourself to get there. I saw a post that someone made. He said, when you stop to respond to every dog that is barking on your way, you will not get to your destiny.
That's true.
You will not get to destiny. And you see, some dogs will come from behind you. Dogs don't come from in front. They go around. They come from. You can turn and see while you keep moving, but not to stop and address. There are two different things.
Sometimes you stop and chase them
Yes.
back.
So you see, when you chase them back,
You start coming.
you have gone back. And the idea is for you to keep moving forward. Because if you are traveling from Abuja to Kaduna and it's 250 kilometers, if you calculate 250 kilometers and you say you spend 1 minute on each kilometer and you say that's 2 hours 30 minutes, 2 hours 50 minutes, it's almost 3. Are you considering the potholes that are on the road? Are you considering that there might be an accident on the road? Are you considering that maybe a truck fell? Are you considering maybe there is a riot and they block the road? Are you considering all of these things? If yes, so what do you do? It's not when you get there that you look for the solution. It's when you prepare for the journey. And these are some mistakes that people make, that developing yourself, because the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So that means from the abundance of what you have stored up within you, you pull them out to act appropriately at any given circumstance and situation. If not, when you wait to get to that place of peril before you start planning on what to do, you would have been consumed. That is why when you enter the airplane, they tell you, in case of emergency, use this exit. There is, in case of fire, there is something underneath your seat. Pick it up and use it in your nose. And if we are landing on water, there is a vest. Wear it this way. Blow it to inflate it. Yes, inflate is to put air, right? Deflate is to remove it, right? Blow it to inflate it. And make sure that this thing is hung on. There is a light on it for reflection for people to see you. See the preparedness. All the while that I flew, I have never used any of this thing. But does it make it useless on the plane? No. No. But we are not prepared. But we have goals. We have aspirations. But we are not prepared. Me, by next year, I must be captain of guest brigade. What are you preparing? What are you preparing? You just join. They will keep you with explorers. Is it explorers they call them? They will keep you with explorers. You will be 57 years old. You will be working with explorers. The Gen Belt. Come on, so you start Gen Belt, man. Who learns to buy a type of size now?
It's always oversized.
I would never say it in English. But you see, Joyce, let me just round up my point. I think our time is almost there. If you desire to be in a particular place, why do we fuel our cars? Either full tank, half tank, or quarter tank. It depends on our destination, and in most cases our budget. But there are times that your budget is irrelevant. If you are going to Abuja, 20 liters will not take you. If so that's all you have,
we are not taking budget.
Go to NTA Park. You can't talk to NTA. You can't talk about budget if you want to drive. No, if you must buy that fuel. You must think of what to eat. You must think of where to stay if you don't have a house. So most of these things, that's when we say plan your life, these are things we are talking about. In the next 5 years, where do you want to be? Joyce was talking about work earlier. I heard her. In the global space, now, when they interview you, they don't care about what you study. They don't care about the certificate. They ask you, what have you been doing in the past 6 months? That's what they ask you. If you like, tell them, well, since I lost my last job, I've been waiting on God. I've been praying with our prayer team, and we are hoping, and I know that God brought you my way. They will end the call on you, sir. They want to know what has occupied your mind 6 months ago. So from 6 months to now, if you have been occupied working in particular place, they will ask you your experiences from 6 months. What you studied is the least of their worries. A guy went for an interview, and then they asked him, how did you get to this level? He said, I hacked your computer and I put my name there, and that's how I got here. So they said, Some people say, no, let's fire him. Some people say, no, you can't fire somebody like this. He's our own tech guy that we need to fire or have him work under him. For him not to provide enough security that somebody can, we need this guy. And that was how he gained that employment. But look at young people today, Joyce. Nothing bothers them. When I say nothing, I mean nothing in the best sense of this word. Nothing bothers them. They come home. The first place they go to is kitchen. Pam, pam, pam. They start opening. They start eating from the kitchen. When they are done, they go back to meet their friends. You get one cake, get this one. Yes, that no. There is food, but they are angry that what you cooked is not what is their choice.
Yes.
Yesterday they ate tuwo, today they are eating it again, as if you have ever bought a grain of rice or one piece of seasoning to the house.
Like work is really important, and no wonder the scripture talks about whatever you find doing, like do it well
with the whole of your heart.
And so you cannot disregard the place of grooming. or disregard work and just succeed just like that.
It's not
There are
possible.
process to all of this, and
Mm.
you have to go through the process for you to succeed.
Mm.
And quickly, because our time is fast spent, just want to introduce this segment. We're talking about work. What's most annoying about work for you?
What's most annoying
Yeah.
about work for me?
Yes.
What makes me angry about work, or what people do that gets me angry? Which one?
What's most annoying, whether
So
you
either
or with others, generally about work?
When I see people carrying their responsibilities
Mm.
with extra passion,
Mm.
and others are looking and laughing.
Mm.
Like, this one is, what are you doing? It annoys me. Like, see, I'm not saying where I work, generally. You go to a restaurant, somebody is in a hurry to take your order. Somebody is there just looking at you since, but she works there. And the person that is taking your order left what she was doing, what he was doing, to come and take your order. When I talk about young people earlier, this thing is, it gets me angry. That you see a young man sending you a message and begging you for money, and then you try to send something to the person, and they reply by saying thanks. Just one word, thanks. But you see, about work, there are people that are extremely passionate, that when a task is given, I thought you asked me that, even asked me what impresses me the most. When a task is given, you see some people running. Before you know, they even tell you that the things are in the car already. Everything. Even if they forget something, think about the zeal with which they had. And then it makes you can forget things, you can, but you see, but there are some people as well. Where is Joyce? Say we are traveling together. She said that their dog died, so we'll pick her at do you understand things like that? It makes you, people who don't keep work as priority. Kai. It's not me.
All right.
It's not me.
I think that will be that because someone is doing his job right, every other person folds their arms. That really pisses me off. It's like you're leaving the whole workload on this person, and over time this person begins to wear out. So it's really a nasty thing.
She said nasty in church. Calm down, be calming down. PK nasty.
Well, for me, I would say what annoys me is when
Tell the truth. When you keep your food and you come and don't see it. People should not be minding us on this set.
I'll go with prudence.
Okay. You share the same.
Joyce,
line of thought.
what annoys you the most at work?
Okay. When people pick up jobs and they express anger and bitterness about the same job, it's a turn off for me. So
We have-
because as far as I'm concerned, it discourages people that are around you. So instead, why not just leave out or just take a bow? So I think
Take a bow and resign.
there's no point.
Okay.
picking a job and-
Quickly, in maybe 30 seconds. What excites you the most about work?
Well, when I see everybody taking his or her responsibility seriously, like, then it makes the whole work easy. Because if you do your part, I do my part, and then it's resolved. And I think it's also I'm impressed when I see that when people put their heart to work, they should be appreciated. And then I think basically
Solo.
Okay. When I hit my target and it's been appreciated.
Wow.
The value it gives.
The value
It gives you.
it gives you. Okay, what excites you the most about what people do at work? Okay, I think you have said that. What you said is what people. What excites you the most about what people do at work?
Yeah, when I see people doing what they are supposed to do.
When someone is up and doing, yes.
Okay, you know, up and doing can be. You can be up and doing
Doing
but
the right
at the
thing.
same time. You are
Doing
not doing
the
anything.
right thing.
Up and doing
Busy
the right
doing
thing.
Busy doing nothing.
No, this
No.
time around it's busy
That's the
doing the right
rocking
thing.
chair
right
kind
thing.
of work. You are working, but you are not covering distance.
No impact.
Well, that'll be it for today. Our
You did
time
it.
is actually fast spent. You round up. You after saying his, then you just close the show. So, what impresses you about how people work?
As instructed by Joyce Jakada, as instructed by the boss of the show, that I should round up. Whatever you find yourself doing, do it well to the glory of God. If you walk in a place, don't walk to impress, but walk in a manner that brings value or adds value to what you do and growth to yourself. We will come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. and we're going to be talking about something that you would want to hear. So stay tuned. Share it when we post it on our WhatsApp status. Pick it up, share it, let someone also have the blessings from the show. Solo Sambo Sabe did these with Prudence, Joyce, and Tony Nakali. Thank you, cast and crew, everyone who did anything to make the show successful. Thank you, Equa Executive, for giving us the opportunity to do this. Every staff, God bless you. You heard what we said, and we still love you. Bye-bye.